Hello my beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. It's about time I do another sit down video because many of you have been asking me to talk about certain topics. So as you can see by the title, today I'm gonna share my love story with my husband, and actually what better way than to tell it with him. So you guys are gonna get to see a little bit of his personality, and we're just gonna go back down memory lane and just share how we got to where we are right now. So before I continue, if you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel, click a like if you like this kind of content, and don't forget to leave a comment down below. I really appreciate everyone's support. It's been so amazing going on this journey with you guys, and I just can't wait to see what the future holds. Husband. Okay, let me scoot over. What's up? Introduce yourself.
What's up, bro? I'm Josh.
Oh, he did a little plug because he has a YouTube channel too. So he's Bro, I'm Josh on YouTube if you are not subscribed.
And on Instagram.
Oh, and on Instagram.
For the fit pics.
If you are not subscribed or you're not following him, go ahead and do so. If you're into fashion, he's a cool guy.
I think I'm cool.
Go ahead
and
follow him.
My hair's looking crazy right now, guys. I'm trying to grow it out, but just so you know, this is not my normal self.
We're just rolling with it. All right, so where do we even start? Just to give you guys a little background, we met when I was 15, he was 16. Right now we're both 25.
25. Yeah.
You know when someone asks you your age and you're like, yeah, I just turned 25 and he's turning 26 this year. So we're a couple months apart, and it's crazy because when we met, we would have no idea that we would be where we are today, but it's just crazy because he's my best friend.
Yes. Let's go straight into it.
Yeah.
So
you want to tell your version of the story?
No, I'll just like plug in when she's false.
Oh my god.
When it's fake, I'll plug in. And
you know how there's always two versions of the story?
And then there's the truth. Well,
there's a lot of witnesses and other people that partook in us getting together, so they can add their details maybe in the comments down below.
Alright, I think I should start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, because you're the one that pursued me.
It wasn't like that, but okay. So my best friend at the time, Mikey, was walking with this Dominican exotic chick in the hallway, and I walked past him and I gave him that look because I thought that maybe he was the one talking to her. And then we were gonna go to the same class, so I guess he dropped you off, right?
Yeah.
Dropped you off at your class. He came back and I was like, who's that? That's my friend. And I was like, oh, put me down, put me down. And he's like, all right, bet. And then he said, well, you're gonna have to put me down with another girl, and then go from there.
Okay. So another piece of the story is that I actually had class with his brother for 2 or 3 years. We had Spanish class together. So I knew of him, but we never knew each other directly, like personally. So we had the same friend and we just never crossed paths.
The exact same friends. Like we had too many people in common to not... I didn't know of her actually, but you knew of me.
I knew of you because of your brother. And I had class with his ex-girlfriend. Let's not.
That's where I walk up.
He's leaving. Whatever, we were kids.
Yeah, no. So let me tell him the background. So I just said it like, oh, put me down, but I didn't think that he was actually going to do it. And then that same night, I think it was.
Yeah, he literally called me. I'm like having dinner with my family. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, oh, you know my cousin Josh? And I'm like, your cousin? Because I've known him for years, you know? And he's like, Josh, you know, Nate's brother. And I'm like, that's not your cousin. What the heck? Everybody's cousin. If you're Dominican, everybody's related. Mm. So then I was like, oh, nah, I'm not interested. But background story is that I had just gotten out of a toxic relationship. So I was not looking for anybody. Whatever, we cut the conversation. Like 2 days later in class, his brother's like, oh, my brother wants to go with you. And I'm like, nope, tell him I'm not interested. And then he's like, please. And then I was like, oh, well, tell him if he wants to get me, he's gonna have to put in the work.
He's gonna have to work very hard.
Yeah.
I think those were the exact words.
Yeah. his brother relayed the information.
So we rode the bus back home, and then while we were walking, we have a long way back home, and he's like, oh, this girl named Ellie, and she said that you try and talk to her, but she says you have to work very hard. And I said, Ellie, who the heck is that? I never said. I thought it was another girl.
You didn't know my name.
Yeah, I didn't know his name. I thought it was another girl trying to lie, like I was trying to hit on her. I was like, I wasn't hitting on her. He's like, you don't know Ellie? I'm like, no, I don't know who Ellie is. Like, and then I don't know how we made the connection, and then he's like, well, Mikey's the one that told you. I think that's what happened. I think he's like, oh, Mikey's the one that tried to put you down with her. And I was like, oh, her, yeah, definitely. And
then he said,
I'll work hard.
No, he said, I'll do whatever it takes.
Oh, I'll do whatever it takes, yeah.
Ooh, ladies, get yourself a man that will do whatever it takes to get you. A week goes by, and this guy would literally see me in the hallway and never come up to me. And I'm like, how is he sending everybody and their mom to talk to me, but he doesn't have the courage to talk to me himself? And that got me a little like annoyed, and I'm like, all right, whatever.
No, side note, I just didn't have a phone, so how am I gonna go up to a girl without a phone? My phone was messed up at that time. Remember?
Oh, you wanted to get my number?
Yeah, I had to get your number. My phone was messed up at that time.
Okay. So one day he finally builds the courage, and I think it's because he had no choice, because we literally crossed paths like this. And then he's like, hey, and then I'm like, oh, you finally came up to me, and you got
I was so nervous
over your words.
I was nervous.
He said, it's about time you came up to me, and I'm like, huh? Cricket. But he was just nervous, whatever. And then he ended up walking me to class, and then I heard his accent.
Oh yeah. And she was like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, from New York.
We've been living in Florida for half of our lives, or more than half of our lives, but we always still claim New York because it's the best. Right? But funny thing is that, you know, I had class with his brother. I knew he was Dominican from New York, but something just didn't click. Like, I don't know, I wasn't really thinking about you in that way. So now that we're conversing, I'm like, wow, we have a lot of things in common. So he walked me to class that day, and then that's how it started. So
she was just like, okay, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I don't have my phone with me, but I'll, you know, as soon as I get my phone, I'll ask my brother for your number. And then a couple days went by, remember?
Yeah.
A couple days went by, and I didn't see her because I didn't really know, like, I don't know where, I didn't know your schedule or anything. So there was a couple days that went by, and I remember going from PE, and we crossed paths. Somehow we crossed paths, and then she was like you looked at me kind of weird because you were like, oh, you never texted me, right? Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't get my phone, but I'm gonna get my phone. I think that was Thursday. I'm gonna get my phone Friday, and I actually did. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's thinking about me, you know, like he's updating me in the process. But I was still acting all like I'm in my own world. I was gonna go, because this is BC, before Christ, you know, so I was gonna go. You said BC. I was gonna go to a party with our friend, and then the party ended up getting canceled. So then he's like, oh, let's just stop at Mikey's house. So tell this story. I knock on the door. You're chilling with your friend, another friend. I'm chilling with Mikey that night, and we were supposed to go to a party. And then my brother was there, and I'm in Mikey's house, and we're cutting some pants. Like, I don't know, we've been always like alternating clothes. He's always. Yeah, I'm always cutting pants and just kind of like trying to push fashion or whatever. If you're watching this and Joshua has cut your pants, comment down below. And there's like 100 comments? Yeah. Literally. He cuts all my clothes. He's cut our friends' clothes. So it was just mad weird the way that we were set up. So he's standing up, and I'm trying to measure where his knees were, and we're trying to get cut off before the knees. Oh, so he's, just think about this. He's standing up. He's standing up. I'm kneeling down, like kneeling down and just trying to do it, and then she's knocking on the door. So I was like, oh my god, we have to just hurry up. So I end up cutting them, and then we opened the door. I had my phone, so we were texting, and then she was telling me that she was going to go to a party, and I was like, oh, I'm going to a party too, but we never knew that we were actually going to link up until to the same party. Yeah, it's the same party. So then once again the party got canceled, so we ended up just chilling at Mikey's house. And I remember he was sitting on one couch and I was sitting on the other, and he's like, oh, look at my new phone, because mind you, this whole time he's been telling me like he's gonna get a new phone, and that's why he hadn't texted me. So now he's showing me, but his brother got the same phone. So I'm like, yeah, I already know what it looks like, I already saw it. Like, and he's over here trying to find a way to get me to sit next to him, and I'm just like in my own little world, whatever. She wanted to sit next to me. So we all were like, let's just go to McDonald's, because
I've never been into fast food, but I used to like their, what is it called? Frappes?
Frappe, yeah.
I used to like their frappes. So we went to McDonald's, and then that's when we really bonded. We got to talking that day, and that's when I truly felt attraction towards him. So when we were in high school, he had long hair. So it's funny that he's literally growing this out when we're sharing this love story with you guys. But I used to love his little curls like that, and he used to like play with them without realizing it, and I thought it was the cutest thing. So I remember we were in the car together, and he was sitting in the passenger seat, and I was sitting behind him, and I would just see him playing with his little curls, and that's when I felt attraction for the first time. So after the McDonald's that we got the frappes and stuff, we walked to the car, and like that's when we started, you know.
That's when we really connected.
Yeah, we really connected. His brother, remember, his brother and I were friends for years, so I felt comfortable with him dropping me off at home. So he dropped me off, and then obviously he was saying bye to me.
Can we just shout out Nate for just all the rides?
Yes.
Shout out Nate the Great.
Yeah, Nate was 17 with a license. We always say that this guy had a license since like birth and a job.
And a job.
He's always working, you know, and he did not mind picking us up, dropping us off to all the dates. Like, I look at now, I would not be doing that for my siblings. I got things to do, you know what I mean? But he was a real one,
yeah,
a real
MVP. He was the real one.
He's the reason we're together.
Yep.
Literally. So he dropped me off, and then Josh was saying bye to me, and then he was like, oh, I'll text you tomorrow, something like that. And I was like, you better text me tonight.
The truth is that you were just saying, oh, I was like, no, I'll hit you up tomorrow, like I'll text you tomorrow, and then you're like, oh, and then that's what you said. You said, oh no, you better text me today. And then I said, oh, I'll text you so fast that you'll get a text before you even reach your house.
No, you paused for a second. You were in your thoughts, and then you're like, nah, I'm gonna text you so fast that you can't even get to your house. But in my mind, okay, I'm telling you what I was thinking in my mind. So in my mind, I was like, if he doesn't text me tonight, I'm never gonna talk to him again. Because you have to give yourself worth, ladies. You have to value yourself. If a guy just spent a night with you, you know, and
I bought you the frappe.
Yeah, you paid for me. So if a guy just spent a night with you, and then he doesn't text you like to say goodnight or to continue some sort of conversation, then was he really interested, you know?
Right.
So really, I hadn't even gotten to my front door, and he was already texting me.
I just didn't want to be that person just like overly texting. It's not that I didn't value her or I didn't value her time. It's just that I didn't want to be that guy that like gets obsessed, like, oh, texting like 24/7.
Not giving me my space.
Yeah, not giving me space.
But that's kind of the getting to know each other phase, so it's important, you know, to talk. So it was really cute because for a couple days, ongoing days, we were texting nonstop till we would fall asleep. And you know, when the conversation just continues the next day, we kept doing that, and some way somehow it ended up into phone calls.
Yeah. Well, let me go back. Because I was in a previous relationship before her. It was less than a year. It was like 6 months, 7 months. And I said the next girl that I'm gonna marry is gonna be Dominican, and I'll marry her. The next girlfriend, I'll marry her.
Yeah, this was before him even seeing me in the hallway. And then I happened to walk by in the hallway. Yep. Another funny thing that happened is that probably like the third time that we chilled, well, right before we chilled, he got his wisdom teeth pulled out.
Oh, yes.
He got his wisdom teeth pulled out, and he didn't want me to see him because it's like he's trying to look good for me, all this stuff. A lot of embarrassing things happened.
Oh, yeah, that first like month and a half was a tough month.
Oh my god. Okay, really quick, let me just shoot a couple of embarrassing things that happened.
No. But when you have the sauce, you get it.
He got his wisdom teeth pulled out, swollen cheek.
For 2 weeks, because it was ridiculous.
2 weeks. Like, I saw him towards the end of that, but he was still a little bit swollen, and then like you got stitches in your mouth, so you feel like your breath smells. So all this stuff.
And then we camped out for some sneakers, some Jordans, and there was a fight that broke out.
There was a fight that broke out, but his whole family was at the mall.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about dad, mom, abuela, la tia.
Everyone. Look, just a tip, guys. For Christmas, you know, around Christmas time, just don't go to the mall as a date, because then everybody's doing Christmas shopping.
It's true.
Like, they didn't know I was there. They just showed up.
He doesn't know how I am. I'm very family oriented, outgoing. So I had no problem. Like, I didn't feel awkward at all. I remember that he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, what? I'm looking around, I'm like, what? He's like, my whole family is that way. And I'm like, okay.
No, she was like, oh no. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It was my whole family. There was an aunt from Dominican Republic. There was my grandma. There was my mom's two best friends, my mom, my dad. It was just like ridiculous. And my brother was with us.
And now that I know his family, I know why. Because like his mom right away will start asking questions and stuff like that, you know, which I love her. It's no problem. But he didn't want me to be overwhelmed. Whatever, I said hi. When they see that I speak Spanish and, you know, I'm outgoing, they're like, oh my gosh, who is this girl?
And I was just like, that's my friend. That was my friend.
Yeah, because we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend yet. You know, so that's another embarrassing thing that happened.
Another tip, no, for the guys out there, because I know you.
What?
For the guys out there, don't tell your parents that it's a girlfriend or boyfriend. Just say it's a friend, because if it's girlfriend or boyfriend, it just puts too much pressure.
Well, we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend yet.
Regardless, you say friend. That's my friend.
Okay, no, but once we're official, we're official.
I will still say friend, guys. Just
take that back.
No, not
take it back.
I'll take it back. I'll take it back.
Yeah, one of the main things in our relationship is that we always needed to give each other our place in front of anybody, anywhere. So what you mean, friend? Anywho, another embarrassing thing that happened was that we chilled one night together. He decides to wear his brother's retro Jordans.
Yeah.
Retro meaning old. You know, they
from
were
1999.
They were old. And we're walking and the sole of his shoe stays behind us.
That was so embarrassing.
He's like, oh my god, my shoe just fell apart. Like the whole bottom platform of the shoe was like behind us. And then I'm just so chill about everything that I'm just like, like I really didn't care.
The whole night I'm walking with a limp because now I'm like mad uneven. Like
girls know, like imagine like when your heel breaks, that's how he felt. He's over here like with a little swag.
And the whole plan of chilling was to walk around your neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's so awkward.
I remember it was his brother's birthday in January. And he asked me to go with him because obviously I was friends with his brother as well. So we went to eat at TGI Fridays, I remember, and then we went to the beach that night. And now it's past midnight, and he already had planned out to ask me to be his girlfriend. So he asked me to be his girlfriend that night, and I remember that we were deciding, we're like, should we do January 14, or should we do 15 because it's past midnight? And I'm like, no, let's do 14 because this is like the actual day, you know. So our anniversary is on his brother's birthday every year.
Every year. I think that was our young selves, because now that we think about it, we might have
I'm like, we should have done 15.
We should have done 15.
But whatever, I don't mind. So January 14, 2012 is when he asked me to be his girlfriend.
Yeah, coming up to 10 years.
Yeah, we're about to be 10
years.
Baby.
Wow, that's amazing.
You know how I said that was before Christ? So basically both of us went through a period where, you know, we grew up in church, but then we went through a period where we're like kind of like, oh, I want to do my own thing, I'm figuring this out. We didn't have a relationship with God at that point. So I would say like 2 months into our relationship, it actually came from him. He's like, we should start going to your youth group. And then I told my mom, I'm like, I'm gonna start going to the youth group, but I'm not gonna go on Sundays, like, you know. And then my mom's like, yeah, she was praying for me all these years, and she's like, that's what she thinks. This is the Lord already like working in her heart, and used him actually.
I don't even remember that detail.
Yeah,
actually.
I remember that.
I thought your mom was the one that invited us first.
So his parents are our pastors now.
Yeah.
So I had no idea about any of this when we got together, which is crazy because God had a divine plan.
Yeah.
So we started going to my youth group, and then shortly after that is when we had a conversation, and we're like, okay, if we're gonna go serious with the things of God, then there are certain boundaries that we're gonna have to set in our relationship, commitments that we need to make towards each other, and one of those is waiting till marriage.
Yeah.
So we had no idea what commitment or what we were setting ourselves up for.
Well, in my point of view, it was like we went to one service, and then right after that one service, she was like, oh, I think it's a good idea if we just wait till marriage. And I was like, all right, I'm with it if you're with it. That's exactly what I said.
He literally said that, I'm with it if you're with it. But it's so funny because in our innocence, you know, we were doing this, but we didn't know the journey that we were about to go on.
If I would have known the journey, I don't know if I would. No, I'm joking. I'm just kidding.
The long journey.
The long.
It's so funny when he read his vows to me. That was literally a line. He was like, these long 7 years.
Yeah.
We dated for 7 years before we got married.
Yeah.
We got on this journey, and man, I mean, we were growing up, so as adolescents ourselves,
yeah,
you know, all these things, these emotions we're going through, figuring ourselves out, who we are as people.
Yeah, I think that's what the most difficult part was. It was like me and her were growing separately, but also trying to grow together in a sense, right?
Exactly. So we would have so much communication to be able to get through difficult obstacles and overcome things. And even spiritually, I remember I struggled with, like, how do I show him affection but not break boundaries? Like, there was so many things, and I'm so young. We didn't have anybody around us that could be an example to us in that sense, because
exactly.
Our parents were serving the Lord, but they already came to Christ after being married. They didn't have.
If you guys want like practical tips, that's a dope video to make. Like, yeah, comment that in the section below, because that's a dope video. Maybe some practical tips that we've used
in waiting to marriage.
And in the waiting, and maybe they can find some type of
hope.
Advantage or hope. Yeah.
Yeah, because honestly, we longed for that so much, and also when we decided to really be serious with the things of God, we lost a lot of friends because they're like, these guys ain't about it, they're not trying to go to parties, you know, they're not trying to link up, get lit, all this stuff. And truly, we were still ourselves, we just weren't living that life anymore. So it hurt us. It got very lonely, and that's why we leaned on each other. And that's why I always say this is my best friend, because literally, besides us being in a relationship now, married, we truly enjoy each other's company. Sorry if the frame is a little bit different. The storage was full. Okay, where did we leave off? It's been a journey, and basically I would say that at 5 years is when we started feeling like we're gonna take our relationships to the next level. So in that process of the 5 years, we encountered so many battles as far as, we're waiting till marriage. It was really hard. And also, we didn't have the finances to sustain ourselves yet to become independent. We were really young. You know, we were both going through school. So I think that something that helped us is that we were very goal-oriented throughout our relationship. And we understood, like, first of all, before, you know, the commitment to ourselves, it's a commitment to the Lord. So we wouldn't worry too much about, like, what people thought about us, or so many people were like, yeah, right, they're not waiting, you know what I'm trying to say? But we're like, whatever, like, we're gonna stay focused. We know what we want, and it doesn't matter who doubts us. We understood the importance. It's not just resisting a certain temptation or whatever, like, just taking something away from yourself. It's like, there's what you're gonna gain on the other side. Even though obviously we hadn't crossed that line yet, we still knew, like, based on what God had deposited in our hearts, what we were gonna receive, the blessings, you know, the reward that came from just committing to ourselves to that level.
And I just want to add, like, I know you mentioned that we're so goal oriented. I think that's one of the things that has helped us out this stage in our lives, is because we understood that there's a practical sense of things where we have to, you know, go to school, finish your thing so you can make enough for a living. And we also knew where God was calling us to be, which was marriage. But we also knew that there was a journey to get to marriage. And I think that we set up our goals in a way where it worked out.
Yeah. So we went on a cruise at 5 years. We went on a cruise with his family. And before that, you want to say how you talked to my dad? So
I called him up and I said, hey, do you want to meet? And I think that he was kind of busy. I think it was a Saturday, and I don't know what he was doing, but he was kind of busy, and we just met up at a local mall at the food court. And I said, look, I know that, you know, we've been going through, I've been dating your daughter for so many years, and I think that right now is the time to take the next step. And I said, I just wanted to make sure that I have your blessing in marriage. And he's like, yes, of course, son. Like, that's it. It was a quick meeting. I thought it was gonna be a lot more emotional, but it was actually really quick.
Yeah, the thing is that my dad and him have such a great relationship. They play basketball together. Like, anytime my dad sees me without him, he's like, where's Joshua? Where's Joshua? To the point that I'm like, hi to you too. I'm happy to see you. Like, he doesn't even care to see me. He just wants to spend time with him. But it's really cool because they have that special bond. Obviously, our families already knew that we were headed towards marriage in our relationship, so it wasn't a surprise to my dad, and of course he was excited to welcome another son.
Yeah,
I think that's super cool. Obviously, I had no idea that any of this was going on. I was just excited to go on a cruise, okay?
Yep.
So the cruise went to St. Kitts, St. Martin,
St. Thomas, Puerto Rico,
Turks and Caicos.
Turks and Caicos, yeah.
I kind of had an idea. I'm like, this would be a good opportunity for him to propose to me, but it was a long cruise, and it was a few days in, and he hadn't done anything. So I remember we were in Puerto Rico, and we went up to a tower.
That was the last place that before we went back.
Yeah.
And I had the ring on me the whole entire time, waiting for the perfect opportunity to see which one was nice. And everybody, my dad would go, oh, right now it's nice, but I'm like, nah, this is not a good spot. It didn't feel like it. Like, I didn't want to do a beach. I never really liked doing the beach proposals. I wanted something to be dope and something to be like a monument. Yeah.
So that was when I was like on my whole fitness. Like, I was so strict on my fitness. So to get up to this tower, it was like 1,000 steps.
It was.
So I'm over here in the front, while everybody's trying to go up, and I'm like, da. I'm over here thinking that I'm like killing it, working out thighs, like going up. And I have no idea. Yeah, I thought it was a Stairmaster. And I have no idea that he decided already that up there, when we get to the top, is where he's gonna propose. So we get to the top, me with my pictures as always. I'm like, let's take pictures, da. His cousin's like taking pictures of us, and I didn't know that he was freaking out. His heart's like do. And I'm over here just like, look at the view. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I noticed that his cousin's like, she was so slick with it, but she had, you know, her camera, and then she's like looking at him, like, I guess she was trying to wait to see when should she start recording.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, let's take a picture without my backpack. So he takes off his backpack and he goes to put it on the ground, and I'm like, yeah, let me take off. I always have like a little cardigan, so I'm like, let me take off my cardigan. So I go to take it off, and I'm looking this way, and then he goes, babe, and I turn around and he's on one knee, and he's like, will you marry me? And I was like in utter shock. If you know me, I'm the worst person to surprise because I show absolutely no emotion. Like, it takes me so long to process what is going on that people expect like, oh my god, I'm like this. That's literally me when I'm in shock. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, I remember I said oh my god, but I'm like, what is happening? And it wasn't until he literally stood up that I was like, yes, baby. Obviously, I wanted to marry him, but I'm like, is this really happening right now? And he looks so cute. So he puts a ring on me. And if you see the background video, his dad's like, this marriage is gonna be on top of the world, man. It was so funny. There was also other strangers there, and they were all crying because they're witnessing a proposal.
And then my parents became like Facebook friends with them.
Yes. Yeah, and then you just see the mountains in the background. It was so beautiful. I couldn't stop staring at my hand. I was like, oh my god. Should we do a close-up of the ring?
Yeah, do it.
So it's a solitaire, and then obviously I have the wedding band now with little diamonds. And it's funny because I've always liked solitaires because I'm just a simple girl, but I didn't know that they were more pricey.
Yes.
But I love it. Thank you, baby. We enjoyed that cruise, and then we came back engaged, whatever. Our engagement was 2 years long. So people, I remember that we got so much negativity. People were like, why would you get engaged and you still have 2 more years? We were just ready for that next step.
That next level of commitment.
Yeah, next level.
I mean, we were already committed. Like, we were already committed, but it was like
I don't know. It just felt different. It seems
different. Like what they say about like baptism. It's like, what is it? An outward expression of an inward decision.
Feeling,
or something like that.
Yeah. So it was like just, it was beautiful, honestly. And I feel like since, you know, it was already solidified that there was going to be marriage, again, going back to goals, we started making a budget and saving and intentionally taking steps towards that versus like a rushed thing. And I feel like that helped us so much.
I don't remember. Did we plan for 2 years or was it 1 year?
We had said we were gonna save for a year and then start executing for another year.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So 2017 is when we started executing. So I got together with my aunt, that she's amazing at decorating. It was a DIY wedding, so little by little I was always at Home Goods, AC Moore, Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. I was everywhere looking for decorations. We went to local shops for flowers.
Yeah.
We picked out everything. Everything was done by hand, literally by hand.
And it was directly picked by you or by someone you sent?
Yeah.
Or by me?
Yeah, so I was already engaged, and the first thing that I got was my dress, which was crazy because I basically got it out of faith, and he yet wasn't really believing at that point. Is it okay if I say that? I don't feel like he believed at that point strongly that 2018 we were gonna be able to get married, because he didn't yet have his career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In that season, literally every door was closing, and I remember that I'm like, oh my god, we just got engaged and we're trying to take these next steps, but every door is closing. Are we making the wrong decision? Are we rushing into this? So when I got my dress, he's like, I just paid for it, and he's just like, what are you doing? You know, and I'm like crying, and I'm like, I believe it's gonna happen though. Like, and then he's like, oh my god, I don't have a job.
Yeah, I was just like, you know, I mean, especially as a man, you want to be able to provide.
Right? But some way, somehow, I just knew that the Lord was supporting us.
He was working. He was
the thing is that that's not what God wanted him to do as a job. That's why every door was closing. He wanted to be a police officer, for those of you that don't know. So he had applied to about like 6 different departments, and every door was just closing. And not because he didn't have the qualifications.
I had the qualifications. I was literally failing at some of the things that I'm like, there's no
requirements.
No, not even the requirements. It was like some things that like either like the background. One of them was the background, and I'm like, I literally haven't done anything. Like,
there's no criminal background.
No criminal record, no nothing.
It just didn't make sense. But now we understand that it was the Lord. I'll tell you why. 3 months before we got married is when he got his job. When I tell you total faith, I was still in school, and actually that semester and the following semester, I wasn't gonna be able to work.
Right.
No income, because I was gonna do an internship. So this was blind faith. But when I tell you provision started coming in left and right, people, they're like, I want to bless you with this, I want to bless you with that. Literally, God
told me to give you this. God told me to give you that. Like, it was absolutely insane. We had
a good chunk of money saved, but you know, our photographer gave us a customized package. Oh my god, I'm gonna start crying again, because I watched her for like 3 years, and I never thought that it would be possible for her to shoot our wedding, especially when I saw her prices, because obviously she's amazing at her work, but it just wasn't in our budget. So the fact that God touched her heart to give us a customized package in our budget, incredible. And
she even asked you, like, she's like, what is your budget? And then she
asked me what
she's
was
just
budget.
amazing.
Yeah, she was amazing, and she stayed longer than she even was supposed to. Till this day, we still have a relationship through social media, and we didn't even pay for our pictures. We didn't.
Oh no, we didn't.
We didn't pay for our honeymoon.
No, we didn't.
We didn't pay for my dress.
No,
we didn't pay for our wedding cakes. 3.
Okay. Plus a bunch of...
Oh, a whole bunch of, you know, the party favors, it was dulce de leche, okay? The party favors were dulce de leche. Like, you know how sometimes you go to parties and they give, like, something that you're not even gonna use, or it's a nasty candy you're gonna throw away? No offense, but this was delicious. Everybody was fighting for it. Yeah, we had cake, Dominican cake pops, okay? It was amazing. And what else? The catering. Usually it's like $40 per plate. We paid $12 per plate. I could just continue sharing like testimonies, and it was just incredible. That's how we knew that it was God. Some way, somehow, we got our apartment a month before, and we were just going in there cleaning and like trying to set a few things up. Next thing you know, wedding day comes. 7 years later, and I'm gonna cry again. Because when I was walking down the aisle, if you look at the pictures, I'm literally this, like, you know, the little puppy dog crying face the whole time because I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is really happening right now. I'm really walking down the aisle after 7 years. We really made it to the altar in terms of waiting to marriage.
We crawled, but at least we made it.
We were dragging, but we made it. Everything that we were believing from the Lord was coming true before our eyes, guys. Zero debt. We were in zero debt. As what? I was 21. You were 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, 21, 22, zero debt. Not from college, not from wedding, nothing. Glory to God. And obviously, we were tremendously blessed with wedding gifts, so we had enough, you know, money to budget for the next couple months. For like
4 months, because she was doing the internship, so she didn't work.
Internship, yeah. I was only able to pick up a little aftercare job, which was like nothing, but it helped us with something.
But it helped us, yeah.
Yeah, we always had food on the table. We weren't able to furnish our first apartment, but we didn't care. We had each other, and we had the necessary.
The struggle was real in that apartment. We had a futon that somebody gifted us to us.
That was our couch.
That was our couch. It was so uncomfortable. And then we had a TV.
What did you say recently? You're like, you remember those days when we used to binge watch shows with on the futon flipping over?
Yeah,
because if you try sitting on the top part, which is like where you're supposed to lean your back, if you open it completely, you try sitting on that part, it like would flip over. So we would be like balancing, like,
yeah.
And then we got a hand-me-down table that we actually painted.
Yeah.
For our wedding cakes.
For our wedding, and then we used it for our dinner table.
Yeah, but before that, we were eating on the floor.
Yep.
And then our mattress.
Our TV was on the floor. Did we mention that?
TV was on the floor, and then our mattress was on the floor. Well, it was on the box spring, but we didn't have any bed frame. And that's it. That's what we lived with for a year, and we never lacked anything.
Nope.
Incredible. So after a year living there, we were able to get this apartment, and we've already been here for almost 2 years. And fully furnished, and it's crazy because I asked God for specific things. I'm like, I want gray hardwood floors, white kitchen cabinets, quartz tabletop, that the bathroom would not be inside the bedroom, that you would be able to access it outside for guests, because our first apartment was not like that. It's weird, like people coming into your room.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, and that's what I got, you know. So here we are today. 2 years in this apartment.
2 years in this apartment, and then now we're trying to save up for hopefully a house soon.
Yes.
In the near future.
So our next steps, speaking of goals, again, is to own our own home, and we want to travel a lot before we have our kids. Because I know I get that question a lot. They're like, when are you guys gonna have kids? And it's like, dude, I'm still mind your business.
Just kidding.
Dude, I'm still 25. I love children. I'm a teacher. I have nieces and nephews to cherish.
I think people ask that question because we're married. Because I see 30-year-olds that don't have kids and they don't ask that question because they're not married.
It's true. That will come in due time, but it's not. It's not for right now. We have other goals, and we're just so excited. We actually have an upcoming trip coming up.
Oh, in 2 weeks. I'm so excited.
Yes, school's almost out. I love you.
I love you.
So that's a little bit about us. Did we miss anything?
No, I think we hit everything.
3 hours later, like SpongeBob. If any questions sparked up during this video, let us know, and we can do a Q&A video, right? We have some upcoming video ideas as far as going a little bit more into how we budgeted, going a little bit more into things that have worked in our marriage for us to have a healthy marriage. So stay tuned for that. And that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching. Once again, give us
Thumbnail.
a thumbs up if you liked it, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.